hey, hi. Thanks for stopping by. It's Jamie again down at the bee yard. Actually, maybe up at the bee yard. I'm at the my bee yard up closer to Blairstown on Wishingwell Road, and it's a beautiful day. It's August what? August 22nd. It's just about noontime, and I'm just doing a little bee inspection. I know it's been a long time since I've made a video, and I've been busy at work. You know, helping to run an auto repair shop, and busy managing the bees as well. It was a good spring and summer harvest. I got about 1,600 pounds of spring and summer honey. So now, what's going on now? Well, there's been a dearth, right? A period of no incoming nectar. That was right about July, but some incoming nectar was occurring for most of this month. So normally when beekeepers might have to feed bees, I only had to feed them a little bit, and they have provided themselves with a sufficient amount of nectar and then some. So really what's happening now for about the past week, the nectar flow has started up, the fall nectar flow, which consists of some goldenrod honey. What also is blooming now is Japanese knotweed, or it's Japanese bamboo, something like that, or American bamboo, I guess they call it. And the aster flowers will be blooming pretty soon. Anyway, it looks like there's going to be sufficient nectar flow for the fall that they will be able to provide themselves with 60 pounds of honey to make it through the winter until March and April, and I'll be able to get some from them. So I'm just kind of doing an inspection at this point to see if things are going well inside the hives. I have 12 hives here, and one thing that I also did is I treated for the varroa mites. Even though my mite counts were low, I wanted to eradicate them, so when there were a string of days under 85 degrees, I treated them with a product called formic acid, which is actually in the organic class of treatments. And that does stress the bees out quite a bit, but they've recovered well. The queens are producing brood, and there's enough forager bees to bring in some nectar. So let's take a look inside the hive and see what's going on. And we got my smoker here lit. It's smoking well. We'll give it a little puff at the entrance. We'll take the lid off. Little puff here. I've got a secondary liner here which works really nice for moisture control, condensation. So this thinner box is a honey super, and super means above, and that means that's where they're storing the nectar. So I don't know if you can see that glistening. The glistening, they are packing these frames full of fall honey now, which is a great sight to see. This early. Usually the fall flow really comes on first week of September. So we're about a week or so early for this flow, I think. Maybe not. And right here on Wishingwell Road, I think it's just a little bit late, but maybe not. That's a fairly heavy super. I mean, that probably is about 25 pounds, 20, 25 pounds there. That's pretty good. All right. We'll blow a little more smoke. You can see that the bees are happy today. That's because there is a nectar flow on. It's warm. The sun is shining. They're more focused on, the forager bees are not focused on defending. They're out gathering nectar and bringing it in and passing it on to the house bees, and they're packing it in. So this is a queen excluder, which keeps the queen down below, so no eggs and larvae get up into the honey super. So she doesn't get up there. We'll do a little separation action here by the frames. And we'll take my hive tool and lift that up off the bottom, hopefully. We've got it glued down pretty good with propolis, right? And I'll show you what we're seeing here. So this is beautiful. You can see there's a nice half moon of brood, capped brood, and the nurse bees are tending that, and you can see that that's rimmed with stored honey, and there's pockets of stored pollen, and you can see actually a bee right there with pollen on her baskets looking for a place to deposit that. You can see her right there by my finger. Isn't that cool? So all the frames inside are about the same way. Because we're in the fall flow, the bees are instinctively setting up for winter, and what they're doing is they're bringing in the nectar, and the nectar is being filled and dried and sealed from the top to the bottom, which displaces the brood nest and moves the brood nest all the way down into the bottom box. So that this whole top box would be filled with cured honey, and that would be about, 60 pounds of honey, probably. And since I have a super on top, that's a little bit delayed. That's why we have brood up there. So they're starting really high now, and they're pushing down. So let's take this box off. We'll give them another puff of smoke just for good measure. And this box is going to come off pretty hard. It's been a while since I had it off. Probably July. Ugh! I got it glued down good. And it's heavy. So I'm going to set that off to the side. That's got to be 50, 60 pounds. So what you're going to see here, I don't know if you see it, but you see a bunch of bees, and we see there's one little unhappy defender. I'm going to peel this off, and that's the pad that had the formic acid on it that kills the mites and not too many bees. And that's exhausted, nothing left of that. And I'm looking down and I'm seeing a very ordinary, a repeat of what we saw above. Brood frames, honey, bees. So I'm just going to reassemble that. This hive's in great condition. And these are heavy. And these are only 8 frame boxes. 2, 4, 6, 8 per box. They're narrower than the normal. The most common beehive box is 10 frame. So there's 2 more frames, which is a lot more weight if they've got honey in them. So 8 frames are for those who don't want to deal with that heavy weight or can't deal with that heavy weight. And there's other ways to deal with it too, with different sizes of boxes. So I'm just going to put these girls back together. Put my queen excluder on. I've got a damaged frame there, which I'm just going to leave until we harvest this top box. Put my little inner liner on. That's bubble wrap. And then I have an insulated cover that I made. And they're sealed back up. So that hive's great. And almost all the hives here, actually all the hives except for one, are this mature and they're doing really well. So there's just another glimpse of how God has designed man and nature to work together, albeit imperfectly at this state of the game. I hope you enjoyed it. It's good to see you. Sorry it's been so long, and I'll probably make another video in about a month or 6 weeks when we pull these boxes off and see how we did, weather pending. All right, well, I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks for stopping by.